Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. And the regular season has finally started. It's now actually season 4 of your favorite show, Section 420, Talkin Yankees. The only problem is that they kind of got off to a horrible start and like half the team's on the injured list. But other than that, everything's great. Now, the injuries are concerning. Now, I know out of the gate they're not looking good. You know, you drop 2 out of 3 to 2 of the worst teams in the league in terms of the Detroit Tigers and the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, you can't lose to those teams. Those got to be the easy wins. Even if you have a bit of a depleted lineup, there's really no excuse. You don't worry about that too much because it's just so early in the season. You kind of everyone's feeling out their roles and all that stuff. So, again, in terms of losing games, don't worry. But you want to stay healthy. You just got to, I don't know, maybe because it's this April, they're being a little extra cautious with these players, where maybe in June they would just rest them for a day or two. But it just seems like they're really quick to put these players on this new 10-day injured list. And the new injured list has some of your favorite Yankees. Of course, they started the season with CC Sabathia on it. Of course, we all knew that was going to happen because with the whole angioplasty thing like that. So that was scheduled, that was planned. But then there was some, a few curveballs, mainly Dylan Betances, who was initially hiding the fact that he was having some shoulder discomfort. Now, his velocity was down in the spring, and he was like, that's no big deal, don't worry about it, it's always happens to me. And I remember that in the past, so I wasn't really concerned when I heard about it. Turns out it was shoulder inflammation, and possibly could have been hiding this because around the same time they were looking to give him an extension, so maybe he figured he could get more money if he keeps quiet about the injury. Turns out it was probably a bad choice by him because now he might cost himself his money. Plus now he cost himself like about half a month, but he is due to come back soon, so it's not super serious. It's not a tear, it's just a little inflammation. Same thing with Severino, which we knew about, inflammation, and he's going to start throwing soon, so that's not bad. But you got a few more names to list. Maybe Giancarlo Stanton hurt his bicep during the Orioles series. He goes in the 10-day, as well as Tulowitzki. Now, you knew that was happening because he's so injury-prone, he gets hurt anyway. But you figure at least he get a month or two out of him, then he would get his injury? No. Right out of the gate, he has his injury. Only good news with him, he actually got his first hits in 2017, and he hit a home run. So when he's in there, he can play. But again, he's on the reserve team. And let's not forget our old good friend, Jacoby Ellsbury. But he's still down in Tampa. I don't think unless the entire team just flattened out, I don't think you see him at all. But the major injury, of course, is to Miguel Andujar. Now, initially they reported as a jammed shoulder, sliding into a base during the home opening series against the Baltimore Orioles. Looked at it closer now, it's a partially torn labrum. Just the sound of it sounds scary. Now, he has 2 options. He can get season-ending surgery, which would really kind of suck. Or he could do what he's doing now, doing a rest and recuperation, just, let him settle down for a bit, let the tissue heal itself, and just hope maybe in a month or 2 he can resume baseball activity. It just sounds bad. Anything you're talking about, a tear, a partial tear, and if he does come back, he's just not going to be 100%. It's a little different, remember last season Judge had that, broken bone in his hand. A bone's different. A bone could, come together. It's hard. It's a bone. When you're doing muscle tissue like that, it's real dangerous. So in terms of Miguel Andujar, I'm almost considering him out for the 2019 season, and that's really a bummer because if you look at the Yankees, if you look at him last season, he was really kind of like the MVP. He was probably the most consistent player. I know you might think Judge was the MVP, and he was, but Judge missed, did miss like a chunk of time towards the second half of the season. Miguel Andujar was there the whole way, and again, really should have been the Rookie of the Year. So you're missing a consistent bat for the Yankees. He was hitting doubles left and right. He was hitting home runs. You're going to miss that guy. Now, again, the Yankees, because of the Yankees, they got plenty of resources to kind of fill the void there, but really losing Andujar, it's a really big blow. And they got to coach these players. I know it's their instinct to be aggressive and go in head first, but nothing good comes out of it. You got to go in spikes up, feet first, Ty Cobb style. You look at him to Didi Gregorius last season against also the Baltimore Orioles, sliding into home plate, jammed his shoulder, and he's done for half the year because he needed Tommy John surgery. Great, he's going to come back, but just putting your hands in there, your wrists in there. You got to get one of those things like Brett Gardner has. He has like a mitt. You don't see Brett Gardner with jammed thumbs and jammed wrists and tearing things. So, I don't know. They just got to coach the players in the minors and not going head first, fingers first, shoulders first. It just does damage. But because they are the Yankees and they do have the resources to deal with an issue like that, but you shouldn't think it will happen all at once in this early in the season, but they do. Well, mainly first you have DJ LeMay, who the Yankees already had, and how great is that signing? Because here's a guy now you can just insert at third base. Again, he's more of a natural second baseman, but he is competent at the position. He could play. And again, here's a guy, former batting champion from 2016 that you just insert in the lineup. How many teams can do that? Not too many. So you got that. Now, in terms of Stanton be out, you need to call up an outfielder. So there's Clint Frazier's opportunity. Again, he was chirping a little bit in spring that he deserves a shot this year. Well, you're going to get to prove yourself. So let's see what he does that. As well as Tyler Wade. He was complaining that he deserved to be on the major league roster. They started the season with him in the minors, but again, he's going to be called up. He's going to get a shot. He could play a little infield, a little shortstop. He could play a little outfield, center field, just to give Gardner a break until Hicks comes back. But the only thing with Wade, a very competent glove, not much with the bat there. So you could survive with him for a few weeks, but that's not really much of a long-term solution. And the Yankees have other options, such as Dario Estrada, who they brought up. Now, he's a guy who he could play multiple positions, third base as well as shortstop. And then the Cashman picked up shortstop Cliff Pennington, who kind of a major league guy. He's been bouncing around a little bit, nothing especially great. So you can throw these guys in the mix and just hope, once May and the warm weather comes around, you get some of your big names back. How many parking spaces does Lawrence Taylor need? And now back to the Yankees. There's at least some good news on the injury front. Aaron Hicks, who had some setbacks in late spring training, was supposed to come back sooner, kind of re-injured himself a little bit more, but he's close to resuming baseball activities, a little throwing in the field, a little light hitting, and that's good news for the Yankees because, they were not planning on, running Brett Gardner in the ground this early in the season. The whole idea was to preserve him more with, give him some days off and mixing some time with Clint Frazier left as well as Stanton, just to preserve him more so he's, more functionable in, late August and September where typically and historically Gardner kind of slows down a little bit. So if you get Hicks in there, gives Gardner a break. And again, it's just another bat you can get in the lineup, switch hitting bat, lefty bat, because again, the Yankees are very right-handed, powered right now. Again, they have a lot of good right power-handed hitters, but you want to get some lefties in there just to, mess up with the opposing pitches. So Hicks should be back soon. So it's, and plus, he kind of has to earn that 7-year contract they signed him to. And one of the surprises early on this season is that they really didn't make a decision concerning Bird or Voit. They actually brought them both on the major roster. Kind of feel like they would choose one to start the season with, but they didn't. And now the fact all these injuries happen, it actually benefits them because then you would want to keep them on the roster now just to see who's going and who's coming. And if you look at, Voit kind of really picked up for less, you figure maybe, a little sophomore slump or anything like that. But no, really has cranked out 2 home runs this season with 8 RBIs. So looks like last year really wasn't a fluke. And Bird, okay, he has 1 home run. And funny, the 2 of them actually homered on opening day, funny enough. Now, as soon as the Andujar news hit, Bird actually started to take some grounders at third, which it's cute, but I just don't see him as any sort of a long-term solution. Again, he's more of a natural first baseman. I just don't think he's athletic enough to play third base. I mean, doing diving grabs and stuff like that, but I just can't see Bird doing that. Maybe if you're in a pinch, if it's for a doubleheader or some long, 18-inning extra inning game, all right, maybe go there for a few innings. But it's never a long-term solution. That's the case. But again, as long as all these injuries here, it just seems like both Bird and Voit will be on the major league roster. At some time down the road, maybe if one of them just drops off, then you'll see one go to the minors. But for right now, they're both up here. But there is good news about Gary Sanchez, who, last season hit under 200. This didn't look like his old self, and there was a talk to make him try to trade him or something like that. But obviously, already has 3 home runs this season. Looks much better at the plate. Again, the average is there, but you see the power, and you get to see that this last season, kind of a fluke. You knew something was wrong, and then it came out later on that he had the shoulder issue, which they had a procedure to correct it, and it looks much, at least offensively, looked like his old self. The only problem now is his defense. Been throwing errors, 4 throwing errors in 5 games, and that's very unlikely. His problem's always been blocking the plate and balls in the dirt, and he really worked hard in this offseason to do that. So the throwing errors, that I don't really concern that much because, he got a Canifern on. Throwing people out wasn't ever his problem. So the fact he's doing this season, I don't know, maybe it's a little fluky, it's just getting readjusted like that. So I don't be too concerned about that. It's just good to see that, he's kind of back to his old self again, and it's just, the Yankees made the right decision, holding on to him, not getting any sort of cockamamie trades for Real Muto down in the Marlins or anything like that, or trading him to the Mets of Syndergaard, all these crazy rumors like that. So good to see Sanchez back. And again, early in the season, they're going to need him because, again, you got some guys down, and you're going to need his pop in the lineup. Now, speaking of pop and home runs, a little concerning about the Yankees this season, kind of reminiscent of the last season before. It's just sort of like, if they don't hit a bunch of home runs in a game, they don't win. And we kind of seen that early on this season, and I don't know, that's the way baseball is now. There's no more really contact hitters. It's all just power or nothing. But it's kind of concerning because, if the balls aren't going to the ballpark, it's like the Yankees could barely score 1 or 2 runs. And it's going to be the same thing as last season. Like, if that's going to be the case where, all right, it's great in the regular season, it could win you 100 games, but when you get to the playoffs, you need contact, you need to move runners over, you need singles and doubles, and that's just not what the Yankees do. That's what the Red Sox do. That's why they won. So we'll see how it plays out. Maybe now we have someone like LeMahieu, who's more of a contact hitter. Maybe put him in the bat him second, where you get a runner on, he can move a runner over. So a player like that, more contact. That's kind of what the Yankees need to win. I mean, they have plenty of home run hitters as it is. And maybe now with Clint Frazier gets an opportunity, he could hit one out, but he's more of a scrappy type of player, more of a batting average type of player, get on base. So maybe, with some of his injuries, it could be a blessing in disguise. We can see guys do different things. Again, playing for more contact baseball versus relying on like Gleyber Torres hitting 2 home runs a game. It's awesome you can do it, but you can't rely on that. Well, we got a new season here, so some new friends. I'm going to introduce you to somebody. BX Bomber 2011. Now, he's on YouTube, such as me. Kind of competitors, but we won't fight each other, promise. Maybe later for some more entertainment. He's on Instagram, he's on Twitter, and he's got a show on the internet, radio, and television. The first inning. Did I screw that up? I didn't screw it up. So we're going to say in the take. It doesn't matter, because it's like the first take. But I'm going to introduce right here is my friend Frank, BX Bomber 2011.
Nice to meet you, man, finally.
And we're here to talk some Yankees.
We have 12 players hurt. Okay, that's our full team. And now we got the young baby Bombers that are going to come up and try to win a World Series for us.
Yeah, well, that's the thing we were talking about before. Like, Clint Frazier and Tyler Wade were kind of complaining they didn't get their shot. Well, you prove yourself a little bit. And it's just like, but of all these injuries, the really one that bothers me is Miguel Andujar.
Oh, man, that was heartbreaking for me too, man, because I really wanted to see him play third base. But now, as well, Troy Tulowitzki hurts too, though.
Yeah.
Because he was like our beam of light, kind of.
Yeah, it was a good story too, like him coming back and for the Yankees, because he really wanted to be a Yankee many years ago. Because even when Cashman and Jeter had that thing, and Jeter asked me, well, who else would you want to play shortstop? Well, Cashman was like Troy Tulowitzki. Well, he's not that same Troy Tulowitzki anymore, but he's got a shot there if he get hurt. Again, that's a little cash strain on the tour, but the Andujar is a killer because, first of all, I think, compared to last season, he was the Yankees' most consistent player the whole year. Now, they're saying like, well, he should be back a little bit. I think he's done for the year because you're talking about partial torn labrum. It's like, that just sounds bad. I think he's done for the year.
But you got to understand, all these players will be coming back though. That's the thing. They might be out for a short little term, maybe the month of April, and they'll be back in May. But we're going to be coming back strong now. That's the thing. Boston is taking a hiatus. I don't understand what happened with them. And they just got wiped out by I forgot what team it was.
So Seattle was playing them. Then Oakland.
A bunch of teams ran through them. So I don't understand what's going on with them. I thought it was going to be us and them.
Well,
but
and they had a horrible spring training. They were like 6-14. They weren't that good. So you might see a little sophomore, like sophomore slump with them in terms of trying to repeat and all that stuff.
And they have no excuse because their team is not hurt.
No, that's true.
They have almost the full World Series team that they had last year. Aside from Justin Pedroia, that he should be coming back in a week or something, or by the Yankee game he should be back, and the whole team should be there. So what's their excuse?
Yeah,
we have an excuse. We have 12 players.
That's true too. Yeah, and again, like no one's jumping again. And like you said, I think once some of these players come back, it's gonna make it. Especially if it's something like Severino, you can put back in there, and Bentonsis, you can put back in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna make the name. But again, I just feel early on, this is like they should be. You can't drop 2 out of 3 to like the Orioles and the Detroit Tigers. I mean, they don't have any major league players on those teams. You can't.
Yes, but you have to understand that too, and I always explain this as well. That the other factor is weather. The players cannot play in weather. Now, thank God that we have a good pitcher, Tanaka, that can play in that cold weather. That's a playoff guy that we need. Severino, he's that type of player as well. But J.A. Happ and these other guys, they're going to have to work into that, But Yankee Stadium is serious when it's cold, man. And I don't know how they do it, man. And it's cold when Brett Gardner wears the sleeves.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Okay, it's cold, So and plus the wind as well as a factor, because I don't believe Yankee Stadium does well with wind anymore. I thought the ball would carry with the wind.
Well, remember the first year here, the ball they were hitting home runs like left and right because that was like the whole wind tunnel and all that stuff, and then now it's like the opposite. Like like Judge will hit one and it curves back in. He used to go out, but I remember the first year here, like Miguel Guerrero, we had him. We had like Eric Hinsky and Teixeira and Damon. The balls was going left and right. It just seems like now the wind's like going this way. So I don't know if it's like the polar vortex or like the bomb cyclone, like reversed all winds.
You know what? I go to batting practice a lot. I actually do live streams at batting practice. I started doing that, and you can actually tell at batting practice if the ball's gonna be flying or not. And recently, with the cold weather and the wind, the ball is like just line driving.
Really?
It's just line driving. And it's not really actually curving as well, neither. Because usually when it's warm out, let's say the July weather, when it's humid, that ball would pop and curve. It'll be on a curve. Right now, it's like on a straight line, which is not carrying. So,
And it's funny you bring that up as well, because I think this year's team is going to remember last year's team in terms of like the home runs. If they don't hit like 4 home runs in a game, they don't win. And now you just bring that up. It's very interesting. Maybe that's why, because they're not hitting as many home runs because the wind is the problem. But
it's the weather.
It's the weather. But it just still bothers me that they can't manufacture runs more. It's just like they're relying on 4 guys hitting home runs in a game versus. Like with the Red Sox, the reason they beat us last season is they played a little more contact baseball. We're just not doing that. We just don't have those plays, and it kind of like. I like the line. I like the guys we have. It's just like I wish we had maybe more guys like LeMay who could just more of a single double hitters versus.
Yeah, I always said that.
Relying on all these home runs, just like because you're not going to get that in the postseason.
Well, that's what Cashman relies on. He lives and dies on the home run, man. And you know what? Yankee Stadium is becoming a different ballpark for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it's becoming a different ballpark. I actually talked to my co-host on the first inning. His name is Roger, the big Yankee fan. He's a big fan. And we actually had a show about climate change and how the polar vortexes and the glaciers are melting. I actually want to get a meter for the wind because the wind carries differently in different places. I mean, if you ever check out my vlogs on my YouTube channel, it's all about Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is my character.
Oh yeah, so you're inside there a lot.
It's like
and it's very unique with that show that does that actually inside the stadium.
I show you the best water fountains. I show you what's in the store to buy, stuff like that. Yankee Stadium is playing actually different. Now, this year, they actually changed the dirt on the warning track.
Really?
So the dirt is different now because before, when it first opened, that warning track was very hard and the ball would bounce. And I would catch one on the wall there every time I'm batting practice. Now, it just dies. So they changed that. And also the home run wall, the foam part.
Yeah.
It used to be flush with the cement there. Now they raised it about an inch or 2 over the fence. So maybe that can help on stopping home runs.
Well, I think it's that, and I think you have those replay things where the ball hits just the top of the thing, and they're not sure if it's a double home run. Maybe if it hits the foam, it'll go back in. So you just have less of those controversial replay type of home runs.
Yeah.
And it goes with it because you got these big dudes out there. You got Judge and Stanton like trying to flag. You don't want their arm hitting a piece of concrete to hit this. So it could be that as well. But
I don't know if they can snag home runs, but they should though. With Stanton and Judge, they should be able to do that.
Well, that's Judge's forte. Now, in terms of the business side of baseball.
Let's talk about it.
I thought the Severino extension, I know he's got the hurt, but that was genius because it's 4 years for a guy. I mean, he's worth like $25 million per year. You're only paying him 10 years. But the Hicks one was kind of interesting because like 7 years, that's kind of long, and he's kind of he's kind of a tricky guy to figure out. I don't know. I like him, but what do you think?
I like Hicks, but there is no update on him. He hasn't played baseball. He hasn't thrown a ball, and then you're gonna pay this guy all this money and we lose him. It's like, man, I mean, what more can happen?
Yeah, they're saying this week he's supposed to throw in the field a little bit, resume baseball activities. It's kind of a weird guy because there's a lot of raw talent there. I mean, he's a switch hitter with power, but again, he gets hurt a lot. So just to go 7 years, I just feel it's one of those things where like Cashman discovered him, and again, it was a great trade to get him. We only gave like John Ryan Murphy, some backup catcher. I think like Cashman was one of like justify getting him by just giving him this big contract. I don't know. It's just like
you know what, Hicks was a perfect replacement for Gardner though. Because he can play center field, and we need somebody to play center field, which is very hard. Now with these pitchers giving up line drive dingers, you know what I mean? And with the Yankees, thank goodness that they have a great bullpen now because Yankee pitching can't make it past the first or second or third inning. And that's been like that for a few years with Tanaka, CC, and these guys. And now J.A. Happ, he couldn't do it. And Paxton, he's like,
But I like him, though, and I think that.
Yes.
And overall, just to start the season, man, I know Severino's now, but the starting rotation's way better than it started last season.
Sure really is.
And it's really more the way baseball is now. It's like there are no guys that are going out there throwing 7-8 innings. Only mainly Verlander is the last one. It's all built just for 5-6 innings, and then. But yeah, like we have this great bullpen, and even with Betances down, I like the Adam Ottavino looks great. So it's just like he made up for that, and. I mean, that's just the way the baseball is. You just get a guy out there for give you 5 innings, and you just turn it over to the bullpen.
No, absolutely right. And the motto goes in baseball, if there's no bullpen, no championship.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And we have a good bullpen. I mean, I think we have the best in baseball.
Probably do. And even with guys hurt a little bit, or just not 100%.
I think with the guys hurt, we still have the best team there. And if they can add Gio Gonzalez in there somehow.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, you see that at some point. Yeah,
yes, man, we're going to have a hell of a team going down into July and that postseason run, man. and everybody should be there by then. And I don't know how they're gonna fit Didi back in there once he gets back, you know.
But those problems usually solve themselves. Unfortunately, you saw that at the beginning of the season because you have all these extra infielders with Tulowitzki and LeMahieu, so it works out. But that's Didi's job once he gets back. I mean, that's his job. I know he's like on his last year, but that's his job at shortstop. Because I don't think Tulowitzki is going to last the whole season. Just his body's going to break down, and then everything could fall into place. You could put Torres back at second where he's belong.
Right.
I think LeMahieu is going to get the majority of the time at third base.
Right.
Again, I hope Andujar's back. I just don't think,
Right.
It just sounds pretty serious.
But in the words of John Sterling, you can't predict baseball.
That's true.
You know, and then we're thinking, hey, Tulowitzki, he ain't gonna be nothing, and then all of a sudden he has a breakout year.
I wish.
We wish, right?
Right.
But let's see what happens in baseball, man. That is just how the movie goes, a league of their own. There's no crying in baseball, you know? And we got to go all the way, no matter what, you know?
Now, shifting to first base, the big debate, Bird or Voit. Now, I know he isn't perfect right now. I'm more of a Bird guy. It's just because I like the left-handed bat. He just reminds me of Don Mattingly a little bit, even though he's not close to Don Mattingly. But I just think of the two of them, it's more beneficial if Bird wins out, just because I think defensively he's a little better than Voit. Again, I like the left-handed bat, and plus he's just been in the Yankee system for a few more years, and you just want to see him succeed versus Voit, where it's like they kind of lucked into him. Where do you fall into all this?
I feel the same way like you, man.
Great, see, I love him.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Bird is a good guy. I like Bird, but the thing is, he has the perfect glove. I think he should win a Gold Glove one year, but his bat will come around. I believe it though.
Yeah,
I think so, man. And Voit as well. He's a good hit. He's a good hitter.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't want to root against Voit, and I think he's good. It's this thing like he's just a big clunk. He's more of a DH. See, it's almost in a way I wish you didn't have Stanton, because Voit would be a perfect DH.
Yeah, but
and you don't have to pay him anything. It's just like,
but the way baseball is, we need him now.
Oh yeah.
We have no choice but to put him there, which is perfect because they can alternate DH and first base.
Yeah, they could do that for a while, but again, but once Stanton gets back from his bicep injury, now you're gonna have like. Almost have too many DHs, and it's just like, all right, what do you do with all these guys? And now maybe we'll see we'll see where they are midseason. Maybe you could trade one of those guys off to get maybe we might need a pitcher. We don't know what we're gonna need.
Yeah, because right now the Yankees are running 13 pitchers, I believe. So it gives them like a 3-man bench. So that's gonna be difficult to do, you know. And who knows if Ellsbury ever come back?
Oh no, I think that they're trying to keep him down in Tampa. Like they stay away from this team, and I think maybe
witness protection.
I think that's what happened. See, he actually came back this spring, and I think he spread his injury disease to the rest of the Yankees. That's why all these guys are dropping like fries.
Do you think? Man, that's possible, right? I never looked at it that way.
Because he was gone, and they'll say as soon as he comes back, now everyone get the case of the Ellsburys. Even though it's last year, what do you feel about like them letting Girardi walk? I felt that was terrible.
Man, I couldn't stand Girardi. I love the man. No, he was a good manager. The thing is that we lost so many games because of Girardi, taking pitchers out. You know what I hated about Girardi was bring a guy in, he takes him out after 1 out. Let the guy pitch. Let the bullpen rest a little bit, and then we blow the game after that. So those are the little minor things he had. But other than that, he got almost 500. Well, the Yankees just got their 500th win in the new Yankee Stadium. So he got a majority of those wins in that stadium. So he's gonna go down as one of the historical managers anyway. You know.
But yeah, and then getting your point to Boone, I just feel like Cashman wants someone to completely go in line with him, which would be Boone. I just felt Girardi pushed back on a few people. That's part of the reason I wanted to get him out of there. And I think that they have this new Yankee book coming about the inside of the workings of the Yankee business. And again, I think Cashman didn't like Girardi get a little fired up and yell. And I think that time when he was like screaming at Chapman on the field, if you remember that, he didn't back up that play, or like just like criticizing Sanchez too much. I just think Cashman didn't want a yelly fight. He just wanted more of a low key guy like Boone. And
well, I'll tell you the difference between Aaron Boone and Girardi. Girardi didn't want to hear nothing from nobody. If you can remember games, Larry Rothschild just sitting on the bench for the whole game. He didn't even say nothing to this guy. And CC or whoever be in trouble, they don't even come out to talk to him or nothing, right? Pena, he'll be sitting there right next to him. He'll be chewing them, talking to him. He just ignoring them. Now you got a different manager, which I guess he's the public relations man, if you want to call him a manager. But they're feeding him this information now, you know? If you can remember, if you could go back in the tapes and look at Girardi on the bench, they didn't go through no books. He didn't ask Rothschild, hey, what's the scouting report on this guy? You don't see him circling or nothing. Now you kind of see that, but to me, numbers don't really mean anything in baseball, because if the guy is hot, and he's going to hit a home run no matter what, you throw at him.
Yeah, Teixeira actually said that. He was like on a radio interview this week. He said, look, when I was hot, I didn't want to take a day off. I don't care who I was facing, like that.
Yeah.
But so sometimes, but I think, Girardi would do that a lot, have a lot of these planned days off on players, and maybe that just messed up some of the hot streaks. Who knows? Yeah,
there's a lot of things that Girardi was doing, but I kind of agree with a lot of his stuff he did. He was a good manager. I can't take that away from him, but just the little things that he did for us to lose the game, taking pitches out too early, this and that.
I just feel to really get the raw deals, because if you remember that 2017 team, they were expecting them to be barely 500. Now, no one expected Judge to be this good and Sanchez to be as good, and you get all these guys that were going to be that good.
Yeah.
And he took them from one game away from the World Series, and then you say, oh, sorry, goodbye. I just felt he got a little bit of a raw deal. He deserved, with this squad, he deserved a shot at taking them to the World Series.
No, I thought that was our year, man. I was at that playoff, man. And that's the loudest I ever heard Yankee Stadium in my life, in the new Yankee Stadium in my life. And that was serious business, man. And I thought we were gonna win, man. I really thought we had it.
They really should have won, especially when they beat the Astros here the 3 games. They looked dead, and that was a real bummer.
And then last year too, I thought we had it again, man. I really thought, man. And then
especially that game up in Fenway was Sanchez hit the 2 home runs over Price. I mean, you're coming back here and you just feeling like, oh, we got this, and then.
Nothing,
I think,
man.
Yeah, it was that rainy game against Eovaldi and Severino. We lose that, but the worst was that the last game we lost. 4-0. We're losing in the 9th. We rallied back, and we almost had that. Really, I almost like that. The bat that got me was the Sanchez at bat, because Greg Kimball was like on the ropes, and it's like, all right, he was right there for the hat, and this came up short.
Yes, man. The Yankees have heartbreakers sometimes, man, and those are the ones that kill us in the season. But you know what? The thing is that these games, why we're talking now, because these games in April mean a postseason right now.
You can't blow them,
If we go too much far behind in the standings, it's going to be very hard to come back in April and June and all that.
Because you're going to have those dog days of summer where it's like you're losing your streak, and someone's going to pull a quad and be out for a while. It's like you can't. That's why, again, we're facing the Orioles and Detroit now. You got to win those games. I mean, even if half your team's out.
Yeah, and not only that, when other teams start getting hot, they're going to be winning. We're going to be winning. And the standings are going to stay the same. 2.5 games, 3.5 games, and you never get there. And then we're going to have to play for the wild card, which is going to kill the Yankees again. Because for whatever reason, that wild card was invented for us anyway, to be in the playoffs, right? Steinbrenner, good, and that wild card, man, kills us, man. It drains us of our energy. It drains us of our players. It drains us of our pitching staff. And then we can't go on and get over that hump in the division series.
It's ready, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because our guys are washed up already. They already threw their hardest, for that wild card or whatever it was, and now it's like trying to keep up, and it's like a marathon. But this year, we have so much pitching, so much depth. I mean, come on, man. We can do it. We can do it. I just pulled up the app, man, and I got 2 tickets to the game. Want to go?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's soccer.
You bought soccer tickets? Come on.